Hey Nelum, so happy to see you after a long time. And I really wanted to connect with you and get you on the call and learn a lot about your, I don't know, homeschooling, unschooling, amazing journey that you're having with your kids. So, welcome to Education Next and tell us about yourself. Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much, Priyanka, for having me. And it's great to connect again after a bit of a long break with you. So, to tell you a little bit about myself, so I've been in the field of education since I was 19 years old. I started teaching as a
Mhm.
primary teacher when I was just 19. So I've worked in the education sector till just before COVID in
Mhm.
2019, after about 16, 17 years of a long career.
Mhm.
I decided that I needed to move out of the formal education field because we are restricted in
Correct.
certain ways
Correct.
in the
Mhm.
formal system.
Mhm.
So, and then there were many things that were against my beliefs and my vision, and I felt restricted. So I thought it's best that I move out.
Mhm.
And I was exploring new ideas, trying to figure out what to do. So I was planning to start my own institutions and all when the
Wow.
COVID pandemic hit, and then we thought, okay, this is not the best time to, go
Mhm.
into anything new. And then plus the kids were at home.
Mhm.
So that's where the whole concept of homeschooling actually started. But we've been giving it a thought, time to time, even while we were in school, even while I was teaching and the kids were at school.
Mhm.
We've had this discussion, especially our eldest son at one point was
Mhm.
very fixated on IT and
Mhm.
going to IT school. So when he was
Oh.
about 13, yeah, so he was saying, I want to go to IT school. I don't want to go to this regular school because this is not what I want to do. I
Mhm.
want to focus on IT. But then, we don't have such options here where
Mhm.
there are any dedicated schools for specific areas like that. So we told, look, at the moment we don't have that option. So let's continue your studies. Let's
Mhm.
see what we can do about it.
Mhm.
So this is a conversation we've been having on and off. And I don't know, you may know my second son is dyslexic.
Mhm.
So we've had, challenges in their education
Correct.
while they were in school also. So
Mhm.
it was always, though I myself was a teacher, for
Mhm.
them, they face various challenges in school. And my husband's philosophy is, you
Mhm.
all enjoy life. We are not worried about grades and the whole usual pressure that children go through when
Correct.
they're in school. So
Mhm.
even when they were in school, they were pretty relaxed in terms of parental pressure, because there was no pressure from home to
Mhm.
achieve certain grades or so they were fairly relaxed. They enjoyed their time with their friends. They did what they like to do. If it was sports, we encouraged them to go into that and whatever. So there
Mhm.
was no pressure. But then what we realized, Priyanka, was though
Mhm.
there is no pressure from our end, there is always pressure from the school side, the teachers and the friends, even, when you're in a certain class, there's always certain pressure that we cannot control.
I know.
So
Mhm.
that was weighing them down. That was sometimes demotivating them and affecting them.
Mhm.
So this conversation on what can we do, how are we going to proceed has always been in the back of our minds.
Correct.
But then when COVID hit and all the kids, all three were at home, and then I was also not working, we had a lot of time at hand.
Mhm.
And then we realized, okay, school is not a must.
Mhm.
Because though online school was going on, it didn't work out for my kids because they
Correct.
didn't enjoy it, they didn't
Mhm.
really learn anything from it. What I witnessed was they were just sitting there
Mhm.
listening, and end of the lesson, if I ask, okay, what did you learn? Sometimes I don't know. I didn't understand. I was
They just
just,
sat through.
they just sat through it. So then I realized, okay, maybe the classroom was, half the time this is what is happening, which is a
Um,
waste of time.
mhm.
So which is when we discussed and we thought, okay,
Mhm.
let's give this a shot. Let's see.
Mhm.
So first I had a long chat with my husband because
Mhm.
first the parents have to be on one side, when we are trying to do
Absolutely.
something. We discussed, is this something we can do? Is this a challenge we are ready to accept? Because one thing is, Priyanka, in Sri Lanka, I maybe in India also it's the same. Very, very few families homeschool. I
I know.
mean, you can probably count with your fingers the number of families that
I know.
homeschool because it's not very common, going to
I know.
school, and that is the standard way that things are done. So we had to consider, okay, are we ready to face whatever the consequences that will come from our actions? And then the responsibility of educating them. We had a long discussion and we realized that yes, we are capable of ensuring that our kids' education, that we guide them correctly and that we are able to take that responsibility. And then we had a long chat with the kids also. Because now these are not kids who are going to homeschool from the beginning. We are pulling them out from whether they've enjoyed or not, we are going to take them out of a system. So we explained to all three, they were different ages. The eldest was 13, the second one was about 9 years old, the youngest was only about 7, 8 years old. But we told all three of them, we have this plan in mind. This is what it's going to be like. You're going to come out of school, you're not going to go to school. So there will be pluses and minuses.
Absolutely.
And we explain, like you might not meet your friends like before. So you will be at home more. You will be with each other more. You will be learning together. You all will be with us. So we explained that to them. And then we told them, you all also do your research. You all find out about homeschooling, what you all think, and tell us individually your decision. So we gave each of them time to think and come up with their own answer to the question, do you all want homeschool or not? So they took about 2-3 days and all three came back to and said, yes, we want homeschool. Because one thing, some of them were already not happy in school. I mean, they had their friends and all, but then studies wise, they were not really making much progress. So they said, no, we would love to try this out. So, and since then, we've time to time asked, do you all want to go back to school? Always the answer is no, definitely not. Because we enjoy what we are doing. And they each have their own challenges, Priyanka, each of them. But so by homeschooling, we've been able to cater to their individual needs, which would not have been possible had they been in school. Because one thing, myself as a teacher, I know how tough for a teacher also it is, especially in our kind of classrooms where there are sometimes 30 children, 40 children.
Absolutely, I totally get
it's
it.
not easy for so it's not easy for a teacher also to cater to the individual needs. So as a teacher, I understood that. So even when they were in school, I would always tell the teachers, don't worry about them. Don't worry about whether they are keeping up with the other students, whether they are covering the competency levels or, the exercises, even because I'm not that worried about it. As long as they are behaving, they are not disturbing you, and they are being nice to the other children. And when they are learning something, I'm perfectly fine with it because I don't want them to be pressurized. And I don't want the teachers also to take that pressure of thinking, no, I must somehow get the student to, come up to this standard, cover these areas, master these areas, and then achieve certain grades. So we've realized that taking them out of school has been a real blessing. And I've actually wished that I've done it earlier, because then certain especially for the second one, being dyslexic, certain traumatic experience that he had to face, being forced to read aloud in the classroom. So there were times when he would actually stubborn to get out of it because he didn't know any other way. So those kind of negative experiences could have been avoided. So, but then, I mean, better late than never. So they've really enjoyed themselves for the past 3-4 years. They've been really enjoying the journey. And it's been a learning process, because now one thing people asked when we started to homeschool, this question comes to us all the time. One is, what curriculum do you do? And then the second one they ask is, can you teach all the subjects to them? This is how are you covering all the subjects? Are you able to teach? Because now people know I'm a teacher, but then still they want, okay, can you teach all the subjects? So initially when we started to homeschool, so we also thought we need to cover the curriculum. So we plan to continue the curriculum that they were doing in school, but adjust it to suit their individual needs. That was the initial plan. So, and then as a teacher, luckily, in school, I've taught many subjects. So I've mastered many subjects. So I could boldly tell anybody who asks, no, I am capable of teaching them whatever the subjects that they need to learn. So, and then if if there is any requirement, I'll get help. So that was the answer I used to give them initially. We tried, sitting down with books and textbooks and then drawing up timetables and trying to do the whole structured kind of homeschooling. We tried it for a while. But then we realized, okay, like we are trying to bring school to the house, We are
Absolutely.
trying
That's
to
how we start doing
replicate
it.
something. Yeah, so we are trying to replicate something we were trying to get out of.
And then we are doing the same thing.
Yeah, so we wondered, okay, I mean, yes, the pressure is not there. I mean, because they are relaxed learning from me, they are more comfortable learning with each other. And then one thing they used to tell us, even when we are doing that structured kind of studying, was when we are in school, we are scared to ask questions. We are scared to ask questions because either we would feel foolish or, we don't want to be put on the spot. But now with you, I can ask any question.
There's
I'm not scared to
nothing
ask
stopping
questions.
you.
Yeah, so that was something, that was really great for me to know that they are enjoying learning, because that's really important, Priyanka, that whatever you learn, that they enjoy it. Because if you are enjoying whatever you are learning, naturally, I mean, we don't need to pressurize them. They will automatically show an interest and try to figure things out on their own. So even while doing structured learning, I mean, they were fine, they were happy, but then still within me, I realized, okay, I'm just trying to replicate school at home, which doesn't make any sense. So, and then also one thing I've observed, Priyanka, as a teacher, now we do these standard certain subjects in school, right? But then now I've taught so many students over a long period of time. And once they're out of school, they're doing something completely different sometimes.
Absolutely.
Entirely different to what they've done for their O levels or A levels. And, I've observed students who have struggled in school, who have not shown any interest, who have been really shy and, very quiet characters suddenly blossom out and become these confident individuals pursuing so many different areas in life and succeeding in them. So, and I think one good thing, we discuss a lot about the social media and the negative aspects of it. But one positive thing is that we've been able to observe each other, right? Now, even our friends that we were together in school, now always those days when we are in school, teachers would tell us, right? Unless you study, unless you pass exams, you all will, I don't know, there's this famous thing, you will have to go and either break coconuts or you have to go and work as a laborer. Those are things that the teachers used to tell us. So, but then now we can see all our friends who are at different levels in school, who sometimes failed exams, are doing perfectly fine in life, sometimes better than us also.
Actually, yes.
So that made me realize, so I've been observing and realizing for a long time that, this whole perception that passing exams and doing well in school would ensure a successful life, that really is not true, So there is always ways that people can blossom out at any point in life. So sometimes what schools are doing is they're restricting people because there is only few things that schools are teaching. Whereas out there in the world, there is so much of opportunity, right? So that is one thing that has been in the back of my mind. So then when I was trying to replicate this whole school curriculum back at home, I realized, okay, this is not working out. Like, I mean, even if it works out, I don't see the purpose of doing this anymore.
I think
Because
that's
someday,
the point, that you made, Nelum, that when you leave the traditional system, you don't leave your traditional mindset. So basically,
exactly.
your tendency is to go towards that.
Yes,
You want
I
to,
know.
because, and that fear of what am I missing out? You have this FOMO basically.
Precisely.
What are the other kids
Yeah.
learning that my kid is not learning?
Yes.
Am I
Yes.
sufficient? Am I doing everything? What if my child is not learning maths? What if my child is not
Yes.
learning
Yes.
science? And then I think slowly, I think your confidence starts building, and
Yeah.
when you start seeing your child enjoying the learning process, basically,
Exactly.
then it's a different game now, because now you have explored the traditional method, you have come back,
Yes,
and it's like a weaning process. You
I know.
slowly move
Exactly.
away from that, and then
Yeah.
now you are seeing that they can flourish, and
Yes.
learning is but connected, isn't it? It's not solitary.
Exactly.
Maths is not different
Yes.
from science. Science is not different from
Not
language.
at all.
Now, if they are pursuing their interest, let's say something with mechanical stuff, they go online, they read it. Reading is a subject.
Yes.
They practice it. So they are applying the knowledge. So all
I
the,
know. Exactly.
you are a teacher, you know about Bloom's taxonomy and everything.
Yes.
And you will see everything that you have learned, it starts falling into place very
I
beautifully.
know.
And then you become that fearless person that,
Yes.
I know what I'm doing. And now that
Yes.
fear is gone, basically.
Yes. Yeah.
And then you go on to basically, like you say, you start exploring, right?
I know.
Mm.
Yes. So then we realized, okay, let's be completely unschooled for a good, I think for about a year, Priyanka. I
Mhm.
stopped teaching them anything. I mean, we just told you all do what you all like, pursue your
Mhm.
interest, figure things out,
Mhm.
take time to relax because they've been, so pressurized going to
Correct,
school,
correct,
getting
correct,
up in the
correct.
morning.
Mhm.
So we allowed them to completely unschool. And during that time, my eldest one really focused on his programming because he had time now and he had the freedom to
Mhm.
do it. He did not have
Correct.
to be restricted studying books. So he started going online and following courses on different programming languages
Mhm.
and completely self-directed learning. I did not have to tell him, you go and find out courses. No, he himself started doing that. And then my second son started exploring with Lego, with art, and then, with the Rubik's Cube. So many different things. And what he told me was, now I have time with my, for me to focus on my hobbies, explore things. I have time now. So, and the things they learn during that time, Priyanka, I don't think I can teach them ever
Mm.
as I
Yeah,
could not have taught that to them. They themselves learned that, and that was
absolutely.
beautiful for me to watch
Mhm.
from the side, as
You
a
just come
parent and
back.
as a
Mm.
teacher,
Mm.
to see them figuring things out, for them to do things entirely on their own. Because one fear that we have as parents is, if you let them go and be completely free, would
Mm.
they waste their time? Would they be playing games, or what would they do?
The trusting.
But then I
How much can you
did not
trust
have
them?
to worry about it, because with the time they have,
Mm.
they found things that are interesting enough for them to do.
Correct.
And what we did was, we simply supported them. If they told, okay, we want some materials, we would get the materials for them,
Mm.
support them, and give them the freedom to explore. I mean, yes, it might end up with dirty houses, messy rooms, but
Mhm.
that's perfectly fine because they are learning loads of stuff. And just watching each one of them figure out what they want to learn, what they love to learn, that was an amazing experience with
Mm.
zero help from us,
Mm.
with zero direction from us, because it was entirely them.
Correct.
It was entirely them figuring out, okay, these are the things we would love to do. So my
Mm.
daughter, my youngest, started taking up fashion designing. She would make clothes for her dolls, started designing doll houses using
Wow.
cardboard boxes and so many, scrap materials. So there was a lot of recycling going on. Lot of things that they were trying to, make do with whatever they had in hand, because especially this is during COVID time, so we could not easily go out to get stuff.
Mm.
So they learned to manage with what we had in hand, recycle, and it was
Mhm.
really amazing to learn that these kids are able to figure things out on their own.
Mhm.
We
Mhm.
don't really need to do anything. All we need is to give them the freedom, the time, and the confidence. Yes, you can do this.
Mm.
And it was an amazing experience, Priyanka.
Mm.
And that made me and my husband realize, we don't have to worry about their future. We don't have to worry about teaching them stuff, because
Mm.
they are going to learn it themselves. They are
Mm.
going to figure things out themselves, because we've watched them figure things out on
Yeah,
their
you have
own.
seen it. You have
We've
experienced.
seen it. So, I mean, they've learned, my second son learned to solve the Rubik's Cube. I've seen him trying to solve it blindfolded. So all
Wow.
on his own. Yeah. So I mean, purely out of interest. We did not have to tell, okay, don't do
Selfless.
this, don't do that. Entirely self-directed learning. So that was when we realized, we don't have to follow a curriculum. And then just to keep, just to how would I say, just to make ourselves even more firm in our belief, we started speaking to people who are in different areas. Now, one thing is we are into recruitment. We have a recruitment company. So we ourselves see the different skills that are required in the market. So we've already had an idea that, these skills that are required are not really coming from curriculums or subjects that we already knew. But just to be sure, we started speaking to people out there. Okay, would you recruit somebody who has not gone through traditional school, who has not done exams, but have these skills? And they were like, yes, of course. No problem at all, because what we need is people who can get things done.
Correct.
As long as they know how to figure things out, that's all that matters. So, for example, my second son has his Instagram page where he do this Lego photography and he uploads them and he manages the page entirely on his own. And he has a YouTube channel again for sharing his journey with dyslexia, his experiences.
Wow,
He
that's
edits the
beautiful.
videos on his own. He records them on his own. He manages the YouTube channel on his own. And then when I spoke to somebody who is into, the social media management, he has a large company, I would recruit him now, he's told me. Because he has the hands-on skills that no school can teach. So that made us realize, we don't need to really worry. All we need to do is be there with them, give them the confidence, and just support them. When parents, within us, when we get that belief, okay, my kid is going to be okay, and give them that confidence, I think they automatically get that confidence transferred back to them, Priyanka. Because, they feel, okay, my parents believe in me. They believe in what I do. And then they start getting more confident and learning and exploring more. So it's been amazing to watch each of them figure out their own pathways. So now my eldest son just started his internship this January as a full stack developer at the age of 17. So he didn't do his O-levels or A-levels, but he got qualifications in software development because that's his focus. That's what he wanted to do. He did online courses, learning various programming languages. Then he got a chartered qualification in IT, and now he's following his final year degree in IT. So now he has found a pathway. Okay, he has been unschooled all this time, and now he has gone back to formal education also without any struggle. So now sometimes people wonder, okay, if you unschool, can they go back to a formal, structured method of working? That is one other question we asked. How are they going to manage, working to a timetable when they have to go to work on time? So now we've been observing him, and he has had no problem at all transitioning from being totally unschooled to going to a university and doing his final year degree, doing assignments, doing presentations. Or people ask, what about their social skills? How are they going to get socialized? So we've observed they have had no problem whatsoever readjusting because we've given them that confidence. We've given them the confidence and we've taken them out to meet people. We've traveled with them. So they've got a lot of confidence in themselves. So they've had no problem transitioning back to a very structured space, because now they know what they are good at. They've worked on their skills and they know how to figure things out. So, there is no problem in us adjusting. Us as human beings, we are a very adjustable race. We are able to adjust.
Talk about that.
We don't realize that, so even physically, we are able to adjust. We are able to figure things out, right? So I think sometimes we've unnecessarily pressurized ourselves into trying to fit into this mold, and the schooling system unfortunately has restricted us and restrained us, I think, than opening us up to opportunities, because we always have this fear we need to fit into this mold. We have to pass exams, we have to get A's and B's. But now from what I've observed with my children, now I know that I don't have to worry, right? They will figure it out. They will
Correct.
figure it out. And what I told them was, let's say in another 5 years' time, you want to be a doctor. Yeah, you can do it. Yes, you will have to study for it. You will have to go back to scratch and learn. But there is always ways that you can do it if you want.
Yes.
And there are various careers in so many different ways, we only tell them, okay, you can be a doctor, engineer, accountant. But there are so many career pathways. Even in medicine, there are so many things they can get into, Priyanka, without going through the routine path.
And that's what
There are so
happens,
many.
no? And that is what is happening. You don't get the scope that
Exactly.
you wanted to go, and then you have to, make some changes. You have to take some
I
parallel
know.
courses. That happens in traditional
Yes,
system as well. Not
I
everybody who
know.
writes medical exams. See, if you see the data, how many children write the take the medical exam, and how many, very
Exactly.
few. But then they are quite devastated and they don't know what to do, and then they take some
Precisely.
route, right? But if
Yes.
because they are not basically prepared for the real life, and many of us took the wrong decisions when we were growing up because we didn't know.
Exactly.
Our parents were not
Yes.
informed, and I think, like you said, social media has been now is I think it's one of the best times to live in, when you can know what a person in India is doing, or a person in Sri Lanka is doing,
Exactly.
or a
I
person in
know.
US or UK is doing, and you
Yes.
can basically take your own decisions to raise your kid, or I don't know, help your kids grow the way they want to. And I think because you're able
Exactly.
to share, it becomes
Yes.
you become a confident parent. And I think one question
True.
that or one doubt that most of the parents have, that how do you support, like how do you work, how much time do you give at home, do you have to quit your job? And that's another thing. uh, so
Exactly. Yes.
would you like to talk a little bit about that?
Yes. So now, like I mentioned, Priyanka, so both me and my husband, we have a recruitment company which we run from home office. But then, we are occupied throughout the days. We are occupied talking to clients, talking to our candidates, talking to our staff members. So working online, but we are occupied. So initially, like I said, when we were doing the structured homeschooling, it was a struggle because we were drawing up timetables, trying to fix our schedules, their schedules. So it was challenging then. But then when we started unschooling, we realized, there is so much of flexibility that we can bring into our lives, but still be present. Because now sometimes I would be working here, just like now, having a meeting, and my children would be around,
Correct.
working on whatever the projects they are working. So I'm always there for them to, ask questions. But even if I'm not at home, they know, okay, when they get back, we will have some time. So it's always about making time for them, quality time. It does not matter whether I allocate hour or sometimes just 10 minutes with them, but quality 10 minutes that I really give my attention to them. And I ask them, okay, what have you all been doing? Is there anything that we can do to help you all? Do you all need anything from us? So sometimes they would say, yes, we have a list of things we need to buy, or we need to go and visit certain places, observe certain things. So, now they know to ask from us, Priyanka, these are the things we need to help us in our journey. So
Right.
what we've learned is it's all about being flexible, and certain times when they need us to sit with them, I would make that allocation. I would make sure that I put aside an hour or two to sit with them, because they sometimes love to have discussions, about various things. So we always make sure that, we keep aside some time to, specially spend time with them, sometimes over family games, or sometimes by going for a drive with them. But we give each one of them a time for them to personally address any learning need that they have. And then also, many parents are scared to do this, Priyanka, but if you trust your children and if you guide them properly, technology is a wonderful tool for them to learn. But many parents, especially, I don't know about India, but even especially in Sri Lanka, they are very scared to give them access to technology, scared that they will misuse it, scared that they will get addicted to games and so many other unnecessary things. But I've given my kids access to technology from a very small age. All three of them are very tech savvy, but I've never had to worry about them misusing their devices, because they are aware. Their devices are always open for us to check. They know we have ways of observing, monitoring, and we've explained to them that you have a responsibility, and that, these are the good things, these are the bad things. You can use these devices for your progress, or you can use it to do something negative. It's up to you. If you do something negative, the consequences are yours. So if you betray our trust, or if we feel that you are misusing our trust, we will have to take actions. We will have to take away your devices. But as long as you all are maintaining our trust and you all know what is right and wrong, you have your complete freedom to use the devices for your learning, because there is a wealth of knowledge out there.
True. I mean,
my second son has learned basically everything he knows from YouTube, from how to do his drawing, how to do various photography. So many things he has learned online through YouTube and other websites. And my son, the eldest son, also most of his programming, he initially learned online. So the thing is, we need to teach children the right and the wrong, trust them, but at the same time be present.
Correct.
So that they know, yes, I mean, they are there, they know what's going on, but trust them and allow them to use technology, but always educate them on what can go wrong and how to use it responsibly. And I don't know, we've never had problems with any of them misusing their devices. So that is one thing that has really helped us, because we've ensured that they are learning with technology, because especially nowadays, the future we are looking into is something that is going to go hand in hand with technology. No matter what field you go into, even the creative fields, you have to, nowadays my second son is going for a training with animation company, and they're teaching him how to use a stylus and a digital drawing pad and learn to draw digitally. So even the creative aspects are going to go towards technology. So we can't keep them entirely away from it. So it's better that we educate them from a small age and teach them how to use it responsibly. So that has helped us a lot, actually, in supporting them in their learning. And also, the other thing is, now as a family, now it depends. Now I have 3 kids, so they learn from one another, and then they learn from movies. I got them to watch movies, and then I would hear them discussing about certain things they learned from the movies, and that's a really, amazing thing to see. Okay, because people think, okay, watching a movie is like, it's just, some people think it's just something we do for leisure. No, children can learn so much of things from movies.
Absolutely.
So we make sure, one thing we've done is we've guided them to make sure that they take every opportunity that they get to learn something. So now for my youngest daughter who's into fashion designing, we watch a lot of movies about fashion, and and she observes, wow, this is what's happening actually, because sometimes they don't see it, and then we take them to places and show them the actual situations out there. So for us, because we're unschooling and because we've given them the technology and the other opportunities to learn, managing the time has not been a problem. But of course, now we are working from home, so it's been easier for us. But for a parent who's working full time, yes, it may be challenging, but it's not impossible. Because as long as you've equipped your child, like I said, with the required tools, with the required resources, and they know that when they need you, you are around to give them maybe 10 minutes of your time, to support them. That's enough sometimes. Because if you take a school classroom, Priyanka, for an individual child, how much of time can a teacher allocate?
It's not even possible. It's not
even so I mean, sometimes 10 minutes of quality time is enough for us to guide them, rather than worrying about giving up on our jobs, and nowadays, I mean, from work, I can log in through a Zoom call and have a quick chat with them if they want to, clarify something, and that one-to-one interaction is required.
I think, like you say, Nelum, it's like the things that you have done. I think I had a very, it's like a learning thing, because being a mother of 3 kids, and I'm sure everybody has different, interest, and you have to cater to different. Like you said, that when you build that trust, And I think it's
Yeah.
all about building, building education, learning into the life
Yes.
itself. Like one of my friend Andrea says that it's like a life
Yes.
centric way of living the life where it's not separated. Your
No,
family, your
exactly.
learning
Yes.
journey, your living,
Yeah,
how you are in the kitchen, what are you cleaning, how are you.
precisely.
I think these
Yes.
are the real life skills, like you said, that
Yes.
we cannot separate technology from ourselves
Yes.
and say that, hey, go to the school and learn only in the traditional way. Don't
Exactly.
touch the phone, and then you are not living in caves now. You can't behave
No.
like that. And
Yes.
you have to agree that kids have affinity towards gaming way of learning, or watching a movie and learning. And these are, I think, various.
Yes.
So we are running out of time, but I think, Nelum, it's fascinating to learn directly from you, and because you have the experience, and I think I will come back to you, I think, many, many times, and talk more about different things, maybe about technology next time or something else. But thank you so much for being here and sharing everything so honestly. I think this is what anybody listening to this podcast would need, is learning from you as you are doing it, because it's just so raw and so pure, I think. So thank you so much for being here, and keep inspiring. And I will put your links, and if you're, okay to share links of the Instagram that you mentioned, that
Yes.
we can see and we can learn from. So thank you so much, Nelam.
Thank you so much for having me, Priyanka. And even your journey has been really inspiring. And it's great to connect with people like you because,
Mm,
sometimes if we are isolated in our countries, in our
right.
societies, we don't get to meet like-minded people.
Mhm.
So, social media, LinkedIn, Facebook has been wonderful tools for me to meet
Absolutely.
people like you. And
Mhm.
I'm really, really glad that we've had the time to connect and to share each other's stories because we learn from each other. And
Sure.
hopefully, even if one person learn and
Yeah,
get the courage to
absolutely.
do something for their
Absolutely.
children from us, that's
It's
wonderful.
like we achieved something. All right, Nelam.
Yes,
Thank you for
certainly.
being here. Bye bye.
Thank you.